Hey gamers, we're back with another episode of Let's Create a Competitive Card Game. In this episode, we're going to start working on the power follower effects. Also, we're going to be taking a look at the next concept for Talent 26. So the artist did send that art over earlier this morning, which is why this episode is being released a little bit later in the day. Alright, so last episode we finished up the effects for the life followers, and just to review on what the power guild actually does, the power guild is primarily focused on having a strong attack and a strong defense. So if we were to go into the archetypes, power is primarily the aggro archetype, and I'll just review all of the archetypes for the guilds in general. So the Mind Guild focuses on the control archetype, and within control you have things such as bouncing cards, making your opponent discard cards. I'd also venture to say that even toolbox decks are a form of a control deck. Now, the Life Guild primarily focuses on burning, or I should say, they primarily focus on manipulating uh, your life, either your life or your opponent's life, through burning your opponents or raising your own life. And there are other playstyles within that, which is really what these archetypes are. So every guild has a specific playstyle, and power would be that aggro playstyle. And it's aggro in two ways, where you have that rush aggro playstyle where you try to get out as many small hard hitting creatures as fast as possible, or sorry, followers as fast as possible, in order to do damage as fast as possible before your opponent is set up so that you can win the game. And the other side of that is uh, having strong defenses and sort of playing that defensive playstyle where you sort of just ride the game out and drop one huge follower and sort of take over the game from there. So I guess that would be considered a stall deck, which is a stall deck, sorry, which is typically or can fall within the control archetype. And something else to point out is, even though all of these guilds have their own playstyle focus or their own archetype focus, I do believe something I mentioned before is warriors will not only be in the power guild, there will be warriors in the mind guild who sort of bring in a little bit of the warrior aspect from the power guild, but they primarily focus on what the mind guild does. The same thing with magicians, for instance, and clerics. There can be magicians within the power guild, and while they do have that aspect of magicians in general, where they may do some type of bouncing, they primarily focus on that aggro aspect of the power guild. So that adds a lot of dynamics, and that's how it will be for all of the classes going forward within the game. So even though a class may stem from a specific guild, members of that class may have branched out into other guilds, thus giving them that type of playstyle. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the warrior effect. So I only came up with 3 so far, that way this video isn't too long and we can get to looking at the talent card 26. Alright, so the first effect I came up for the first power follower is that when this card is destroyed, you destroy all followers with less defense than this card's attack. So the idea behind this card is that this is maybe a boss follower within the power guild, and so it will most likely have a very high attack, so that when it dies it takes out a lot of things with it. And the art description, which I did give to the artist, was that I wanted a huge warrior about to fall backwards off of the cliff while holding some other warriors in sort of a bear hug. So this huge warrior would say like 3 other warriors, and he's just bear hugging them. Alright, so the second effect that I came up with was Whenever a warrior followers enters play under your control, you can put a counter on this follower, and this follower gains one attack for each counter on it. So I've been thinking, instead of just primarily focusing on high attack, high defense, and destruction within power, I can also bring in a token mechanic, which is a way for them to get even stronger, which is definitely something that the Power Guild would do. They would they would they would play a lot with equipping relics and things like that to themselves, and also with tokens. All right, so as for the art description, which I gave the artist, I could not think of the art description to give her, so I just gave her what the effect was and told her to essentially draw whatever she wants for that. Now, the last card effect we have is that this card must attack each turn that it can attack. So the idea I had behind this follower is that it's sort of a foolish warrior who just recklessly attacks always. And with that, this card will likely have very high attack for its cost, and maybe only one defense. So yeah, it'll be a very good attacker, but not too much of a good defender. So you're sort of giving and going. So this will lend to that sort of a weenie rush play style that this archetype or this guild allows for, which is an aggro playstyle. Alright, and the art description which I gave to the artist was that I just wanted a foolish warrior attacking recklessly, which is the idea I had for the card. So I'm interested to see what she draws there. Alright, so those are all of the effects that I've come up with so far for the power followers. In the next episode, we'll definitely finish out the effects for these. And remember, about half of these will be vanilla or cards without any effect. So what I'll do now is we're going to hop over to Photoshop and we're going to take a look at Talent 26, next concept. Alright, so these were the initial concepts for Talent 26, and if you guys recall, I did pick this first one as the one that I wanted the artist to proceed with. I liked the second one. I mentioned I wasn't a fan of the cobwebs. I get what she was trying to do there. I just didn't really like that image that much. And as for the third one, yeah, it's just armor on the ground, and yeah, I can't really envision what this will look like, so I had to pass on that one and told her to go ahead and proceed with the first one. And some of the things that I did mention is, one is, I was thinking this was maybe in a doorway or a window with the way this wall is here. I mentioned I did like that there was, I believe these are swords in here as well. So it looks like this is maybe an armory that has a lot of old gear, especially with this piece of armor hanging by, looks like a single chain. So yeah, this is the one I like. Now, as for what I was expecting, it's the same thing I always expect from this artist, which is just more detailed. The images typically look very similar when she starts adding detail. So she does a really good job with the concepts, in my opinion. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the second concept. All right, so here is the second concept, and I have to say, I really like this. Um, I think this may be my favorite second concept so far. I mean, yeah, parts of the image isn't finished, like down here isn't finished. This looks like maybe it's a shield, but just the vibe I'm getting from this picture, you can see like some light, barely some light letting in. It's a little bit foggy, maybe dusty. You have rust on this armor. Yeah, I really like where this is going. You can even see the rust in here on the chest itself, some rust down here. Um, Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about this. I really like this. One thing is, I guess it's not in the window. Looks like the window's off to this side. Is the way the streaks of light are shining in. It's coming from this side. Also, there is something back here. I'm not sure if that's a doorway or what, but mm, this to me appears to be a stone. So I get a really old vibe coming from this. And yeah, I like this. So let's go ahead and do the side by side comparison of both concepts. All right, so these are the side by side comparisons of the initial concept and the second concept. And yeah, it looks pretty much the same. It looks like this one is zoomed in, and this may be because I'm zoomed in on the picture, but yeah, it seems like this is zoomed in a lot more. Honestly, like I said, it's really just one for one. And something I didn't notice before is that this down here was actually a shield. I'm not sure if I said that or not, but yeah, that was a shield. The sword that was here, I'm not sure if she's gonna add. Actually, this looks like a sword right here. So it looks like maybe there's a sword here. Um, I'm not sure if she's going to add the sword over here, but it looks like there's something being added over here. And to me, this circle, yeah, this looks like a sword right here. Um, but yeah, honestly, it seems like a one for one with a lot more detail. So, what am I expecting from the third concept, if there is a third one? Honestly, I think the next concept I'll probably accept as the finished card art, and so there probably won't be a third concept for this in a video. So the next card art video will probably be an initial concept for another card. All right, so I think I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. So if you like these videos, be sure to like, subscribe, and all of that other good stuff. And also, if you have any comments or any questions on anything, be sure to leave those in the comment section. All right, thanks.